is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Coming to you live from the Circa Sportsbook here in downtown Las Vegas. I'm Scott Seidenberg. It is Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. You can always find me on Twitter at Scott's On Air or hit us up on the network at VSiN Live as the playoffs continue, both the NBA and the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs. We have one second-round series that has begun today in the NBA, and we have one Game 7 in the NBA and one Game 7 on the ice. Real quick, let's just get you caught up with what's going on right now in the NBA, as it is Game 1 of the second-round series between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers, and under a minute to go in the first half. The Cavs trailing. They were 8.5-point favorites in this game, and they are trailing right now 64-56. But despite trailing with a minute to go here in the first half, they are minus 1.5-point favorites for the live line on the game. And the live total is at 241.5 right now. If you look at where this game closed, so we did have a little bit of movement. This game opened up as Cleveland minus 8 with a total of 227.5. We had movement towards Cleveland. They closed as 8.5-point favorites with a total of 229, even 229.5 out there in the market. Your live total is shooting over that right now at 241.5. But the Cleveland Cavaliers coming off of a sweep, and that's historically been a very profitable trend. Teams that are coming off of a sweep in the NBA playoffs, if you go back to the last 23 years, like since 2002, we're looking at covering at 58% against the spread for teams coming off of a first-round sweep, or not just a first-round sweep, but any sweep here in the NBA playoffs, and that would be good for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But 8.5-point favorites is what they were here in this game. But now, live line, minus 1.5 with the seconds closing down here in the second quarter. 64-58 the score. Pacers leading the Cavaliers. We are moments away from the puck dropping in Winnipeg, where the St. Louis Blues and Winnipeg Jets will play Game 7 of their Western Conference first-round series. This is the final game of the first round, as the entire second round will be set once we find out who wins here tonight and who will advance to take on the Dallas Stars, who won their Game 7 yesterday at home against the Colorado Avalanche in come-from-behind fashion. Down multiple goals, down 2-0 in the third period. The Avalanche, I don't want to say they collapsed, but Dallas, thanks to Mikko Rantanen, came all the way back, scored, tied the game, got the go-ahead goal, and Mikko Rantanen with the hat trick thanks to the empty netter. And so Dallas wins. The game goes over, which was disgusting because that was an under game the entire way, but it goes over the 5.5. And speaking of the totals, Game 7s in the Stanley Cup playoffs, if you go back to the 2021 postseason, Game 7s are 12-4 now to the under. And that game that went over last night broke a streak of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight unders before last night's game went over with a 4-2 finish in 2 seconds left in the game when Mikko Rantanen put in that empty net goal. So the unders have been dominant. Home teams 10-6 straight up after last night's win. This is, again, going back to the 2021 playoffs. But the better trend for me, and this is something that we talked about last night when we gave out a best bet for the Stars-Avalanche Game 7, is the first period to go under. And I'm going right back to the well and making it my best bet for this game right now. Best bet brought to you by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. Here's the data, okay? 12-4 to the under, that's great, since the start of the 2021 playoffs in Game 7s in the NHL. But it's not just the 12-4 to the under overall. It's 13-3 to the under in the first period. So we have that right away. That data is better. But looking at the average goals scored in every one of these Game 7s that I looked at, 16 Game 7s now since the start of the 2021 playoffs. First period, averaging 0.6 goals. And we had 0 goals scored last night. 0.6 in the first period. Second period, 1.8. Third period, 1.8. So in the second period and third period, you would play the over 1.5 goals. But in the first period of Game 7s, first period unders are the strong trend to lean into. And so that is my best bet for this Game 7 between the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. We are less than 5 minutes away from puck drop in Winnipeg. And best bets, of course, are brought to you by G-Bank. Get the G-Bank Visa Signature Card today. Most credit cards treat sportsbook and gaming transactions as cash advances. That's even when you put your own money on the card. G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees on gaming transactions right there. Also, with G-Bank, you're earning 1% cashback rewards on all eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions and 2% cashback rewards on all eligible purchases. Apply now. vsin.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank. National anthems are being sung momentarily here in Winnipeg. We're going to monitor all the action as soon as the puck drops. And yeah, we're going to be placing some live bets on this game. That's the name of the show here, Live Bet Sunday. Last night, after a scoreless first period, here's what we cashed on that game in the Dallas Stars against the Colorado Avalanche. We cashed a live over at 3.5. We cashed the Dallas Stars at minus a goal and a half at plus 350. That was miraculous, but we took a shot. We took a shot on both teams. We went for a plus money grab on Dallas minus a goal and a half and a plus money grab on Colorado minus a goal and a half. And we figured if one of these teams wins by 2, we're going to get ourselves a nice cash here because it was plus 215 on the Avalanche, plus 350 on the Stars. We got fortunate there with the late goal there with the Stars. We also cashed the second period to go over 1.5 goals. I really wanted to do the both teams to score at plus 150. It's been one of my favorite bets this entire postseason, picking certain spots in these periods to bet the both teams to score. But we just went ahead with the over 1.5, and with our live over of 3.5, it was all correlated there. So we analyzed the first period and cashed with a pretty strong live betting Game 7 last night. We will look to do the same tonight. Again, the best bet is the first period under 1.5 goals. If you're looking for some prop bets, anytime goal scorer, the one guy I would look for, because I do lean the Winnipeg Jets to win this game. So if I was picking a side, it would be the Winnipeg Jets. If you want to lay the juice, the Jets right now, minus 180. The first period under, by the way, has been juiced up to minus 160. I'd still play it. It's juiced for a reason because this is the trend that continues to pay off here. I would lean towards the Jets. I like the Jets to win this one at home. If I'm picking a goal scorer, the only guy I could look at right now is Kyle Connor. No Mark Scheifele once again for the Winnipeg Jets. He's still out with the injury after the hit he took earlier in the series. So give me Kyle Connor, and he's the favorite. Shortest price, what are you going to do? But I would take Kyle Connor as an anytime goal scorer. Plus 135 on DraftKings if you're looking for a little fun bet here. Now, I like to have fun. How about Kyle Connor, 2 goals? Now, Mikko Rantanen last night. Imagine you had the hat trick on him. But Kyle Connor to score more than 1 goal, that could be a little fun way to get about this. If you don't want to pay the price on him to, the short price on the anytime goal scorer at plus 135, maybe go for a 2+ goal night from Kyle Connor. Could be an interesting way to get at that. It is plus 800 for Kyle Connor to score twice tonight. In fact, let's go ahead and play that. It's plus 800 on DK for Kyle Connor to score 2 goals. I'll go with it. There are worse plus 800 bets to be made than taking the guy who has to be the top scorer with the other top scorer for the team out in a home game in a Game 7. And who was it last night? It was the best player, Mikko Rantanen, taking over for the home team in a desperation Game 7 spot. So, plus 800, Kyle Connor to score 2 goals? Yeah, let's go for it. So, recap, best bet, first period, under 1.5. Lean towards the Jets winning the game. But have a little fun here. Little sprinkle. Kyle Connor, 2+ goals at plus 800. Puck is going to drop any minute now in Winnipeg. Coming up next, we will get to the second half plays in the NBA first round game between the Cavs and the Pacers, with Indy leading after 1. However, the Cavs are the favorite for the remainder of the game. We'll get into all those numbers coming up next. I'm Scott Seidenberg. You can hit me up on Twitter at ScottsOnAir, ScottsOnAir. Hit us all up on the network at VSIN Live. And once again, puck drops, Game 7, Stanley Cup Playoffs. We have a Game 7 tonight in the NBA, but second half bets for Pacers Cavs coming up next, right here on Live Bet Sunday on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Well, just about a minute into the game, the St. Louis Blues strike first. Jordan Kyrou gets one past Connor Hellebuck as the Blues take a 1-0 lead, and we are officially in big-time sweat territory for our best bet of under 1.5 in the first period. We need to go 18 scoreless minutes right now, and I don't know if that's going to be the case after that goal was scored. Great pass by whoever set up. Let me see who got the assist on that one. Great pass because it was kind of a 2-on-1, and who got the credit for the assist? Colton Parayko. Great pass by Colton Parayko underneath the defender, and Jordan Kyrou slipping in the puck into the empty net. But Connor Hellebuck, what are you doing? Like, watching that play, he sprawled out. He completely sold out to try and stop Parayko, who he thought was shooting the puck. But man, that is just bad goaltending. And from a guy who is playing this regular season like the best goaltender in the world, who's going to win the Vezina Trophy as the best goaltender in the NHL, and who is a finalist, dare I say favorite, to win the Hart Trophy as the league's most valuable player. That was baffling. And sometimes you just say a guy is just shook. And, people criticized Connor Hellebuck last year when he collapsed in the postseason. He had a great season this year, and he was great for Team USA in the Four Nations face-off. And even in the win against Canada in the round-robin stage, he was unbelievable. And even in the overtime loss in the gold medal game, he was unbelievable. And in these playoffs, the first 2 games on home ice, great. Maybe not world class, but great. On the road, pulled in all 3 games. And here, the first shot he faces, he is completely out of position and lets a goal go by him. Not saying he would have saved it if he was in position, but I certainly did not like the way that he flailed for that. Seemed like a panic move there from a panicked goaltender. But we will sweat out the remainder of the next 15, 16 minutes or so of this first period to see if we can end it at 1-0 in favor of St. Louis. 1-0 is your score right now. Again, first goal of the game scored by Jordan Kyrou. Colton Parenko and Pavel Buchnevich get credit for the assists. Okay, we are at the half of the Pacers and Cavaliers game in Cleveland. The Pacers lead 64-58, and despite Cleveland trailing, they are 2.5-point favorites on your live line. Your live total is at 238.5. This game closed with the Cavs minus 8.5 and a total of 229, some 229.5s out there in the market, but for the most part, 229. And again, your live total way on pace to go over at 238.5. But do the Cavs deserve to be the 2.5-point favorites, trailing by 6 here in the first half, or at the end of the first half? Taking a look inside the box score, Cleveland 5 of 20 from three-point range. That certainly should turn itself around, especially on your home floor. You're not going to shoot as poorly as you did in that first half, and maybe it had to do with a little bit of, they call it rest versus rust, but maybe the time off certainly impacted Cleveland. They got a sweep over Miami, in which they dominate. It was pretty much 4 practice games they had to play. I would expect them to certainly score more in the second half. The Pacers, meanwhile, 9 of 15. Pacers, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Cavs only got to the free throw line twice. Only 4 free throw attempts for the Cavaliers. Rebounds are identical, 19-18. Turnovers, 8 turnovers for the Pacers, 5 for the Cavaliers. Fast break points, it's 8 for the Pacers, 3 for the Cavs. So there's really nothing that you can pinpoint as the biggest difference in this game, with the exception of the poor shooting from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, third quarter is about to begin. I would take a flyer on the Cleveland Cavaliers here in the second half. I would lay the minus 2.5 on them in this game. We have seen runs. You're getting an 8.5-point favorite right now. I know they're down 6, but this NBA postseason has really featured a ton of runs. So I would go ahead and I would play this now at minus 2.5. And I would look at maybe Cavs team total. What is that, 119.5 with 58 points? You're talking about scoring 61. That's a lot in the second half. But I do think the Cavs do win this game and come back and win. And so I would be comfortable laying minus 2.5. Third quarter is getting underway right now. And again, Cavaliers trailing by 6, 64-58. But on the live line, minus 2.5 favorites. And that is what I would lay right now for this game. And let's take a look inside the box score, see what happened here in this first half as we are underway here in the third quarter. Pascal Siakam leads the way for the Pacers with 13 points as another goal by the St. Louis Blues. Our under is dead. Let me look at this replay to see Hellebuck shaking his head. I wonder if this was a soft goal. Let's see here. 2-0 Blues. An incredible start for the Blues here in Game 7 on the road. Unbelievable. Let's see. Looks like a turnover. Okay. Oh, my goodness. I mean, yeah, it was deflected off of his own defender. That's a one-on-one shot, dude. Yes, bad turnover in the middle of the ice, but you can't let up that goal in a Game 7. You cannot let up that goal in a Game 7. Wow. Wow. That's bad. Well, here we are. We already lost our best bet. Let's take a look at some live betting opportunities for this game right now. Your live total is at 6.5. It was at 5 to start the game. We have the Blues at minus 330 favorites. Now, if you looked at this last night, when Colorado had a 2-0 lead going into the third period, 30 seconds into the third period, they took a 2-0 lead. Could have got some great value on Dallas to come back and win that game. At plus 240 is their value on the Jets right now to come back and win this game. I certainly don't think they're out of it. I liked the Jets before the game started. I certainly didn't think it was going to be a chasing 2 goals in the first period. I thought we were going to get a scoreless first period, or maybe just 1 goal scored in the first period. But right now, I do not like what I'm seeing from Hellebuck early on. That is a soft goal to let in. He has faced 4 shots, and 2 of them have got in the back of the net already. Meanwhile, only 1 shot on goal for the Winnipeg Jets, and Jordan Binnington has obviously made that 1 save. We are almost halfway through the first period, and it is all St. Louis Blues on one. I'd say I give them credit for the first goal. That was a nice goal, but the second one, incredibly soft, going past Connor Hellebuck. He has got to bounce back here if, in fact, the Jets are going to come back and try and win this game. Again, your live line right now, plus 260 you can get on the Winnipeg Jets with a live total of 6.5. Now, let's play this out here. If you believe the Jets are going to come back, that's at least 3 goals that are going to be scored. So now we're talking about 5, right? We're talking about a total of 5. Are we better off playing the live total to go over instead of, plus money, chasing the plus money is cool, but instead of chasing the plus money, do we want to give ourselves a little bit of leeway here in case the Blues continue to score? Because if our thought process is, well, I believe the Jets can come back and win this game. So we're saying we believe the Jets can score 3 goals in this game. Do we think St. Louis gets shut out for the rest of the game? And if that is not the case, or if that is the case, and let's say, the Jets do score 3 goals, unless we're going into overtime, we have empty net possibilities. I think I'm interested in a live over. I don't know if I'd play it right now at 6.5, but if this gets to the end of the first period at 2-0, I think I'd be interested in a live over. Or if we get some plus money here, right now, over 6.5 is at even money with 9 minutes to go in this first period. As soon as we get a stoppage in play, if you can get plus money on the over 6.5, I think I'd take a shot at that right now. Let me tell you guys about Edge Boost, the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. Earn cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code LIVE. Deposit $25, and Edge Boost will match the deposit. That's edgeboost.bet.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Scott Seidenberg back here with you. Live Bet Sunday continues here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. I am trying to get in a live bet here on, I am going to take a shot at this over 6.5 at a little bit of plus money, plus 105 right now up on DraftKings. And I do think that, one, I don't like what I've seen from Connor Hellebuck. So the Blues can certainly score 2 more goals. Who knows? As long as the team has a lead here at the end of the game, I think we're getting empty net opportunities for sure. And I'm not going to count Winnipeg out of this. Last night, if you counted Dallas out of it, well, you got stung because in the third period, they played like their season was on the line and they came through. And that's what you're going to see here for the rest of this game from Winnipeg. And as the game gets later on, and they start to force the issue a little bit more and have their D-men pinch forward a little bit more, well, that might lead to opportunities for the Blues then in transition, turnovers. We'll see. But certainly, based on the trust factor right now of the goaltending, I absolutely cannot trust Connor Hellebuck to keep some more pucks out of the net. So I went ahead and took a plus money price here. You can get plus 110 right now on live over 6.5. I feel better about that than I do taking the plus 240 or so on the Jets on the money line. Now, it could happen, and I might throw a little bit on it at the end of the first period to see how this first period shakes out, the rest of the first period. But if it's kind of the same. It's a similar bet. If I think Winnipeg's going to come back and I want to bet the plus 240, I need them to score 3 goals. And so I'm sitting at 5 already if they come back, and then, we're only a couple of goals away here from getting an over of the live over at 6.5 at plus money. Your live total right now has been adjusted down, though. It is 5.5, but that 5.5 is heavily juiced towards the over. So, and that's going to continue to adjust. At the end of this first period, you might get a 5.5 at plus money, and that's something that I would look at playing at as well. We got 5 minutes left in the first period. 2-0 is your score between the Blues and the Jets. I will say that as disappointed as I am in losing this first period under 1.5, I'm going to be more disappointed if it ends 2-0. Like if the first period ends 2-0, because that just tells me that like the handicap was right. The play on the ice was perfect for the under 1.5, and the reason why we lost the bet is because of one of the softest goals you'll ever see allowed in a Game 7 by a Vezina Trophy winner and a Hart Trophy finalist. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, what's going on in the NBA? Maybe a little bit unbelievable right now. The Pacers continue to shoot the ball well as they have opened up an 80-68 lead over the Cavaliers. Your live line right now is they have outscored the Cavs 16-10 here in the third quarter. Your live line is now Pacers minus 3.5, Cavs plus 3.5 is minus 120, and your live total is 242.5. If you are interested in the money line, it is Pacers minus 188 right now, and your Cavs money line plus 145 if you think the 8.5-point favorite Cleveland Cavaliers come back to win this game, trailing by 12 right now, 80-68. So the first third quarter kind of playing out how the first half played out with the Cavs. Let's see if they're shooting a little bit better from three-point range. Nope. What I say, they were 5 of 20 in the first half. Well, they are 1 of 5 here in the third quarter. So they continue to miss their three-pointers. Meanwhile, the Cavs, the Pacers, shooting 61.2% from the field. Now, this is the thing. Those numbers are not going to keep up. 61.2% from the field is not going to keep up for the remainder of this game. They're 13 of 22 from three-point range. That's 59.1%. These are numbers that I want to fade in a live bet. So, yeah, I would take a look, honestly, at the plus 3.5 on this Cavs. I know we talked about maybe laying the 2.5 at halftime, but I would, especially now, getting plus 3.5, these numbers just aren't sustainable. And I get it, a lot of it is coming from in the paint. Well, not really, actually. The Cavs' points are coming in the paint. The Cavs, 68 points for the Cavaliers right now. 44 points are in the paint. For the Pacers, of their 80 points, only 22 are in the paint. 13 of 22 from three-point range. 59.1% from beyond the arc. I don't believe that's sustainable for the remainder of this game. They're shooting 61.2% from the field. Those numbers have to cool off. And if they don't, we're talking about just an all-time performance here from the Pacers. So I'd be betting on this performance to cool off. Go ahead and as this play is about to resume, I would take the points here with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Plus 3.5 is available right now as we have under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Yeah, when I see numbers like that, those numbers aren't sustainable. I can't imagine them shooting over 60% for the remainder of this game. Meanwhile, as no goals have been scored for the remainder of this first period, I would really love a goal to be scored. I don't want to lose my best bet under 1.5 because of that turnover that led to that wrist shot that went past Hellebuck. That would just be a really disappointing way to lose. You know, it's kind of twofold. It's like, one, you want to feel like your handicap was right. You want to be confident in it, because especially moving forward, you want to know that, hey, my read on this is correct. I'm seeing things the right way. So if no goals are scored for the remainder of the period, I'm like, you know what? I'm seeing this the right way. Okay. You know, I got a fluke loss. But also, like, for my wallet's sake, and, you know, it's like, man, I should have had a win there. And I'm not going to call it a bad beat, but a bad goal to let up. anyway, we got 2 minutes to go here in the first period. Blues are up 2-0. And your goals, Jordan Kyrou got the first goal of the game. That was the back and forth, little tic-tac-toe play. And Matthew Joseph scoring the second goal, unassisted after the turnover in the center of the rink led to a soft wrister going right past Connor Hellebuck. So 2-0 shots, only 3 shots on goal for the Winnipeg Jets. Meanwhile, Connor Hellebuck, 7 shots against, 5 saves, and wish it was 6 because it is 2-0 here with 2 minutes to go in the first period. Your live total right now is at 5.5 at -120. This is a number that I would still play. I still believe that we see more goals in this game, and in fact, I'd be looking at the second period once this period is finished. I'd be looking at the second period, and I'd be looking at a Jets response here in the second period for sure. They go into the dressing room. They're going to be pretty frustrated with themselves after what has transpired here in the first period. But, it stinks losing that under 1.5, but now we move forward and we try to attack it from a different angle. I'd like to see a better effort. I would expect a better effort at home here from Winnipeg. And just look no further than what happened last night where the Dallas Stars down 2-0 early in the third period came all the way back to not just win that game, but win by 4-2, and cover the -1.5 and send that game to go over the 5.5 pre-game total. All right, the Cavaliers have made some shots, so they're bouncing back here. Meanwhile, it's not because the Pacers are missing any shots, but the Cavs have started to make some shots here. 84-75 is the score right now, with the Pacers leading the Cavaliers. 5 minutes and 23 seconds left to go in that third quarter. Your live line is now Pacers -2.5, live total of 243.5. We also have Major League Baseball games going on right now, and the New York Mets loaded the bases in the top of the fourth inning, but were unable to score as the game remains tied 4-4 between the Mets and the Cardinals. This is game 2 of a doubleheader. The Cardinals winning game 1 of the doubleheader early on today. And just in this inning, Victor Scott with a leaping grab, the center fielder for the Cardinals, a leaping grab, glove over the wall in center field to rob Juan Soto of a potential 3-run home run that would have opened the floodgates and had the Mets leading 7-4. But timed the jump perfectly, Victor Scott did, jumped up, and right at the wall, grabbed it and stole that home run from Juan Soto. So great catch there by Victor Scott II. All right, we're going to keep an eye on all the action. We also have the Dodgers and the Braves. Braves are up 2-0 at the end of the second inning there in Atlanta. It is Sunday Night Baseball as the Braves look to avoid the 3-game sweep at home. So we're going to monitor all the action in Major League Baseball, everything going on here on the ice and in the NBA as well. Plus, we got to preview the Warriors-Rockets Game 7 coming up. Coming up next, Dana Lane will join us. He is a handicapper at PickDawgz.com. We'll get his thoughts on this first period and what he has seen here from Connor Hellebuck. Hey, the hits are harder, the stakes are higher. It's playoff hockey at its best. Stay ahead of every matchup by checking out our hockey coverage, our playoff hockey coverage on the VSiN Watch app. Make sure you head there and check out everything we have to offer. It's Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Scott Seidenberg back here with you. This is Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Always on Twitter at ScottsOnAir, ScottsOnair. Just tweeted something out I thought it was pretty funny. But the Cavs have taken a lead now, 85-84 over the Pacers. And I've seen this story before. So I tweeted out, Cavs are going to cover the original -8.5, aren't they? It just feels like that's going to be the case. I've seen this Cavaliers team do this before. There was a time during the regular season where the Cavaliers, as a double-digit favorite, this is one of my favorite things to do, and if you are a regular viewer of Live Bet, Live Bet Saturday, Live Bet Sunday in the NBA, during the NBA season, is I was live betting the Cavs a lot when they were double-digit favorites because they would continue to trail in games where they were double-digit favorites and still come back and win the game and cover the original line. They literally did that so many times this season. This year, when the Cavs were double-digit favorites, they were 31-1 straight up. But yet, in a lot of those games, they would wind up trailing at the half or losing early in the first quarter, and I'd bet them live just to win the game or get a reduced price, and they came back to win. I mentioned 31-1 this year, straight up as double-digit favorites. They were 8.5-point favorites in this game, not necessarily double digits, but still trailing early, trailing at the half, and they have surged here in the third quarter, leading 85-84. Let's get back into the action here. Stanley Cup Playoffs, Game 7 in Winnipeg. The Blues lead the Jets 2-0 at the end of the first period. Joining us now on the Progressive Guest Line from PickDawgz.com, he is Dana Lane. Dana, thanks so much for joining us here on VSiN. What did you make of that first period? I had the under 1.5. It's been a tremendous bet for me in Game 7s. And, the first goal, all right, I'll give it to him. The second goal, Connor Hellebuck, I mean, the yips are for real, man. That is, you're a Vezina Trophy winner. You're a Hart Trophy finalist. You can't let in that second goal. What's your opinion, Dana?
Yeah, a really bad goal. And one of the things that I thought about coming into this Game 7 was, St. Louis was so aggressive on home ice. And would they be able to carry that into going on the road in Winnipeg in a environment that obviously is, absolutely on fire? I mean, these fans are right on top of you because it's a smaller arena. And they were not fazed at all. In fact, they were using Winnipeg's aggression against them. And that first goal, you can't blame Hellebuck for that, but they certainly used Winnipeg's aggression against them. Winnipeg got tied up along the boards. I mean, basically, 4 players along the boards that were, if you look in the background, it was a bad change, and they had numbers. So bad goal, the second goal, good goal, the first one, but certainly when you're struggling mentally, as Hellebuck is, whether it was a good goal or a bad goal, it is going to weigh on his mind. And they're saying one more goal that you would take him out. I know you got to ride with him because he's the horse that brought you. But honestly, I think after that second goal, I would have brought Comrie in.
Wow. We'll see if that's what Scott Arniel decides to do here in the second period. What it might do, it might just give your team a boost. It might just light a fire under your team to just go out there and play harder in the second period. I just placed a bet. It is very juicy, okay? And sometimes I'm okay laying juice, Dana. Sometimes I just say, you know what? It's worth the squeeze. But at minus 220, I bet the Winnipeg Jets over a half a goal in the second period.
That's a lot of juice, man.
It's a lot of juice, but you're at home in a Game 7. You're the President's Trophy winning team. You've been embarrassed now, and you're down 2-0. I expect this to be the best effort that you're going to see from Winnipeg the entire season and the entire playoffs here in this second period.
Well, here's the problem. St. Louis is skating with a ton of confidence, and you notice, and when you're betting in-game, one of the things that I always look at is spacing, and not spacing in the offensive zone. How much spacing do you have in the defensive zone, and how willing is the opposition? How willing are they to put two guys up in the neutral zone and say, look, you got to beat us in all 3 zones? And I think St. Louis is saying, we don't think you can skate with us right now. And they are forechecking heavy. They're putting 2 guys up in the neutral zone that's really clogging the middle forcing Winnipeg to dump that puck in. And as we've seen, when you're forcing goaltenders to puck handle, I mean, Binnington certainly has the advantage here. I just want Winnipeg to find some space out there. And that means they are going to have to move their feet. They are going to have to at least control the just inside the blue line in that area to be able to get pucks in on net. But they're not even getting pucks in on Binnington, let alone getting to the low slot area. A little bit better as the period went on. But I have real concerns about their ability. I mean, you look at when St. Louis has a shot on net. I mean, there's a lot of space out there, and one way that you beat aggression is puck movement, is quick transition, and all of those boxes are checked by the St. Louis Blues right now.
Well, I did bet a live total as well, and to your point, I do think St. Louis looks great. And you know, if the reason why I did the live total as well is because, look, if you think Winnipeg's going to give you an effort and come back in this game, much like we saw Dallas do in the third period, which was incredible, by the way, last night, Dallas's comeback. And I'm not saying Winnipeg's going to come back to win, but if you believe that they have a comeback in them, you're expecting that we're going to get at least two more goals in this game. But do I trust Winnipeg to not allow St. Louis to score? And I don't. And plus, if there's a team with the lead at the end, we have the opportunity for not just one, but multiple empty net goals. It's been so hard betting unders here in these playoffs, Dan. I don't know how you found it. I mean, last night losing the under 5.5 was disgusting with that empty netter by Mikko Rantanen. But the empty net possibilities throughout this entire postseason has just really scared me off of any unders.
Yeah, and I generally like betting unders. Just for me personally, I don't enjoy betting overs because I'm losing the game usually for like 2.5 periods at least. I like betting unders because I like to be winning for 2.5 periods, even if I lose at the end. But that's just kind of a mental thing. But the other thing too is, you know, Winnipeg has last change in this game. They had a whole day to game plan for this. And I say this all the time, and I think this is getting overlooked a little bit. You know, Mark Scheifele being out of this game is massive because the bigger the name, the more you got to shuffle guys around. And I know that they've been playing together all year. And, you know, I saw the line rushes today at morning skate. It's not like, you know, there wasn't some sort of resemblance of something they've done in the regular season. But, man, the bigger the player, the more you have to shuffle and the more you're unfamiliar with that in a big spot. Usually in the regular season, you have 2 or 3 games to work it out. I'm always a big guy of not going with a team that has a going with the team that has a player out, going against a team that has a big player coming in again, because I think people are, you know, players are a little bit more relaxed. And I think, you know, bettors overreact when you have a big name coming in. But Scheifele out of the lineup is absolutely massive, and it affects 3 lines of the Winnipeg Jets. And so not only are you looking at a team that is struggling to find open space against a team that is skating with extreme confidence and really is daring them to beat them, now you're trying to find cohesiveness through all of that. And I think that's going to make it very difficult for Winnipeg over the final 40.
Dana, we got about a minute left. Looking at the series prices for the second round matchups, we have 3 teams that have home ice advantage that are all dogs in their series in the Maple Leafs, Golden Knights, and Capitals. Which one of those home dogs, for lack of a better term, are you most confident in backing?
Well, I mean, you have to like the Golden Knights. I mean, they're familiar with the Edmonton style of play, and I just don't. Not that Toronto and Florida is not, but I just think that Vegas, they're no stranger to being underdogs against Edmonton. And Edmonton goaltending wise, they have to be so much better against the Golden Knights than they were against the Los Angeles Kings. I generally, in the NHL, I generally, outside of this series, I guess, I really do like chalk because I think that the Panthers are a better team than Toronto. But Vegas has to get at least one at home. I mean, it cannot be a situation where they come back and play at home like they did last year against Dallas and just, you know, be non-existent in a couple games. This first first period is massive for Vegas, and I think it will tell you a lot about what the entire series is going to look like.
It's going to be an exciting series here in town. We're certainly rooting for our Golden Knights. Dana, appreciate the time. He's Dana Lane there from PickDawgz.com. I'm Scott Seidenberg. More Live Bet Sunday comes up next here on VSiN.